Welcome back to France. Welcome to the Ulti Show, episode 6, day 6, here on the beach. Things are really starting to heat up out there in the World Championships. As always, I'm Brian.
And I'm Caz, and here we are on the showcase field. We've just seen an amazing bronze final, a men's final, between France and the Philippines. France just winning that game 13-10. Fantastic to watch. We're going to talk to the commentators in a little bit, aren't we?
Yep.
But first of all, let's introduce executive producer Tim Rockwood. Tim, come and join us.
Thanks, Caz. Hey, Brian.
How's it going?
So, Tim, this has been an incredible number of games that you've been live streaming and having commentation for. How has it been going? What have been the challenges?
And then we conduct our production business in the English, Australian, and Irish languages, which has been a great, fun time.
So multilingual, truly.
Absolutely.
So what's changed then? Are you finding over the years you're seeing a different level of streaming and commentation for these games?
Well, the commentators are the glue that holds everything together because their knowledge of the game is exquisite and their knowledge of how to work a broadcast is unparalleled. I think the stream team is the best, most talented group of individuals ever to broadcast an Ultimate Tournament.
Fantastic, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so we're hearing from him, best team ever. I mean, we're talking big numbers here, aren't we?
Big numbers. So this is an unprecedented amount of live stream game for an Ultimate Tournament. We're doing over 120 games with commentary. There's a crew of over 30 here working in front of and behind the cameras. Directors, producers, replay. Of course, the people working the cameras out in the sun.
Yeah, they're the silent heroes, aren't they? They're working long hours from first thing in the morning to last thing at night, just to make sure that everyone around the world, you guys out there watching these games, can see them and see all this fantastic action.
Yeah. So we're going to turn the camera around now, and we're going to point it at those commentators.
Oh, fantastic. Let's have a sit down.
So we're sitting here now as for the people behind the scenes who are doing the commentating. We've got Evan Lepler, Gigi Morrison, Tom Stiles, Liam Grant there on the end.
Thank you for joining us, everyone.
Great to be here.
I wanted to ask you, first of all, Liam, there's a lot of nationalities, as we've talked about. There's different cultures that have been brought together for this production team. What's that like? Is it difficult? Is it a challenge? Is it inspiring to have all these different cultures together?
It's a fantastic experience. You have even 39 nations represented here in the World Championships of Beach Ultimate, and that's echoed in the production team. So you really get a good melting pot of different cultures, different styles of work, and really enjoyable. I've only ever worked really with Irish or English production teams, so great to have the US over and just lots of different styles, and it's really, really enjoyable.
Fantastic.
So Tom, there's through the World Championship, it's a week long, there's always lots of stories. What are some of the big surprises you've seen here over the last week?
Well, I think one of the big surprises was Sweden in the mixed division. Not only did they beat the USA, which was a huge upset, but they then went out to India, so they can't finish higher than 17th. Amazing turn up for the books. I also think the way the French men's team have played, they've risen to the occasion. They've had a lot of games on this tournament stream field, and winning that bronze match against the Philippines was a quite fantastic result for them.
Brilliant, yeah, and great to see it in front of their home audience and stuff, right? So Gigi, I wanted to ask you, but actually I could be asking a question to anyone. I mean, you guys are commentating for games that are not just men, they're for women as well, and they're mixed games, so there's mixed players on this pitch. Do you change your style according to which gender's playing, or whether it's a mixed game, or do you keep it much the same?
We don't try to change the style at all, really, because we're trying to promote as much equality and equity across the sport, and especially trying to promote a lot of the female athletes.
Yeah.
So I'd say the only way that we've actually changed, obviously when it comes to open, you say man defense just because that's what it is, you're marking a man. But when it's mixed and women's, we try to make an effort to say person defense or face marking, and trying to get rid of some of the
sort of
more offensive terms.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a fantastic thing to be aware of, because I think, you know, you guys are in some ways role models for the people watching out there. So if you're using the right language, then really is inspiring for everyone else watching out there as well. Thank you.
So Evan, obviously everybody knows you've done a ton of games over in the States, mostly on grass. So we're here at the World Beach Championships. What's your feeling between the difference between the game, the styles, and beach and on grass?
I think it's very much like the difference between tennis on grass and tennis on clay and tennis on hard court. You know, there are different styles, different teams and cultures who have trained on these surfaces in different ways, different levels of priority on those surfaces. But I think that, you know, ultimate is ultimate, tennis is tennis, And skill is important, but there's a lot of different stylistic differences between the countries. That's one of the most fun things to watch, is how those styles clash and what happens. And you know, one year it can be one thing, one year it can be another. The games on the beach are so short, so I mean, there are so many games, they happen so fast. If it's particularly windy, you could have a really long point, and then all of a sudden the final score in a men's game could be 6-5 because you might not have time to get to 13. So it's definitely fun to be on the beach. It's fun to have your feet in the sand when you're calling a game, and fun to have the ocean right there. If you do get dirty, you can go jump in.
It's a nice environment to be in, right? No
Absolutely.
complaints from me either. So I wanted to ask you, Tom, in some games where you're giving great commentation, there are a lot of fans, there's spectators, there's big noise behind the play. Sometimes there are less fans, there's less spectators. How does that influence how you guys go about giving your commentation of the games?
So a big thing that we're trying to do is to create energy and create atmosphere around the game. And obviously if there's no people watching, and because of the temperature, we haven't seen the stands as full as we might have done. People trying to get out of the midday sun, which is completely understandable. So we have to work a little bit harder on the games where there's empty stands to create that energy and excitement. When the stands are full though, we can ride that wave of excitement. When a score goes in, the commentators don't need to necessarily say anything at all, because that eruption of energy from the crowd carries the game and really shows how exciting the game has been.
Absolutely.
So Evan, one thing we want to talk about, just in the last half decade, there's been a huge change in the amount of production, the amount of commentary, the amount of streamed games, everything that's happened around Ultimate. You know, how have you seen the evolution over that period of time?
It's been unbelievable, Brian, and I want to contradict our executive producer who said that we were the most important people to the broadcast, and I think that couldn't be farther from the truth, because, you know, we are the icing on the cake. And yeah, you could eat a cake without icing. I mean, it may not be as smooth and as tasty, but you could eat it without us. And the reality is that the folks in the production truck or hut or whatever that little house is over there, the Luke Johnsons and Mike Palmers and Ian Lungers and Zuni Haley's and Kate Yeski's, they're really the heroes of the broadcast. We have the honor of either showing our faces or having our voices help to narrate these moments that will hopefully live forever in the sport, and that is an honor that I know we all take very seriously. I can't believe that I'm here. I mean, it is honestly surreal to be a part of this with all these different nationalities and different passions from all around the world, and to help be one of the spokespeople to shed some context to it all. It is really humbling.
That's fantastic. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because as we said earlier in the show, there are 30 people as part of that production team. So clearly a lot of people that you guys may not know about who are working very long hours and doing the best they can to get you all that live streaming action.
I haven't learned the names, or more importantly, I can't pronounce a lot of the French names, but there's the manpower of the French crew working here, from the cameras to the truck to the French commentators. It's fun being next to them. You know, I've done games sitting courtside when I'm on TV and I have the radio guys sitting next to me, and when you're calling the games you don't necessarily hear them, but when there's a big moment you can feel their energy next to you, and it really brings the best out of you as well. I really believe that as a broadcaster.
That's fantastic. So guys, if you have any questions you want to ask anyone on the production side, hashtag the Ultiso or hashtag WCBU 2017. Just to end the show, we're going to do some poll results, aren't we, Brian?
Yeah, we had a quick poll yesterday. We were asking which country you thought was going to win more spirit medals. Focus on that. The results came in, and India came in first in the poll, about 34%, followed by New Zealand, who have a history of winning a bunch of spirit medals with 29%. So pretty close poll there.
Fantastic. Well, we'll do another poll today, and it will be about the commentators, so watch out on social media there for that poll. Thank you to you guys for speaking to us today.
Gigi is the best looking commentator.
We won't ask that, because that's easy. That's the answer.
But thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you for tuning in. We're the Ulti Show, and we're on the beach all week.
Liam.
Who's the most annoying?